Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There's Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are Inside Movies Galore. Enjoy the show.
Alrighty, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Inside Movies Galore. Now, I do want to say that the movie that we're going on about we also discussed on the other channel, Delusions of Grandeur. So if you haven't had a chance, go ahead and check that discussion out. But here on Inside Movies Galore, we have not discussed this movie. So I will bring this over to Tammy to have her tell us what movie she subjected us all to this week. And it just so happens to be her birthday month, so happy birthday a little early.
Yay. Movie is Christine.
Okay. Do you know who directed it?
John Carpenter.
And John Carpenter just so happened to be the director of the original Halloween. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, definitely a few other things. But let's see. Let me bring up IMDb about it real quick so that I can bring up the what IMDb says about it. It was filmed in 1983, and this is what IMDb says about it. A nerdish boy buys a strange car with an evil mind of its own, and his nature starts to change to reflect it. Mm-hmm. So, that being said, Tammy, did you want to bring us into first impressions?
You can.
Okay. First of all, y'all should know that this was written by Stephen King as well as Bill Phillips, at least the screenplay. And the film stars Keith Gordon, John Stockwell, Alexander Paul, among other character actors. But let's go into first impressions and see where people first saw this, if this was a first-time watch. Tammy, since this was your choice, was this a first-time watch for you?
No, but I really did enjoy it. Anyways, I think the first time I watched this was probably with my father, because he knew I liked Stephen King things and he knew I liked cars. So.
Okay, and did you ever have a chance to read the book at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So, is that pretty much it then for your first impressions then?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on over to Jake. Was this a first time watch for you?
It was. This definitely qualifies as one of those movies that I've heard a lot about over the years. It's based on a book I've heard a fair bit about over the years. There definitely was the name recognition. I had somehow forgotten it was a John Carpenter film until I saw the very beginning of the credits, and I was like, oh, yeah. And actually, this may have been one of the movies he talked about last year at the panel I went to. I think it was, but I just had forgotten that little bit. It's one I've been wanting to see, but just the basic concept didn't really have me clamoring to see it. You know what I mean? Like it was an idea that, but it was on the radar. So I'm glad I finally had an excuse to see it, and it's pretty good. There are, as I said on the chat, there's one element then, and we'll talk about it as we get going. I know that Arnie's nature changes as the film goes on, supposedly. And I don't know if it's the fault of the actor, the direction, or some combination thereof, but I feel like it could have been handled a lot better. I found the film much less entertaining than I might have if I really had people that I was more invested in. I know, Brandon has that cardinal rule of he doesn't like it when you just don't like the characters. And there were characters that were likable, but most of them were not characters who had a big part in the movie. Most of the ones that were likable, there wasn't a whole lot of them. So I liked how they handled Christine. This scene of the flaming car was pretty cool. And there were a couple of scenes where I'm like, okay, it's some impressive visuals. I definitely recognize John Carpenter, the musician. There are a lot of beats that sound a lot like Halloween music-wise. Overall, it was a good watch. I'm glad I saw it. I'll eventually be probably wanting it in the collection, but I didn't love it.
Okay, is that pretty much it then for your first impressions?
For now, yeah.
Okay, heading over to you.
One more thing. They had an unfortunate bait and switch. They had Harry Dean Stanton prominently featured in the opening credits, and I was like, oh, cool, I didn't know he was in this. He was one of those people that's barely in the movie. Oh, well.
Okay. Heading over to you, Brandon. Was this a first-time watch for you?
Technically, yes. And the reason why I say that is when I went in this, I was almost certain I'd never seen this before. But as I went by, I recognized definite pieces of this. So I've at least seen pieces of it before. My father liked this film. And my father really had shaped a lot of my film appreciation growing up, for better and for worse. My father might have liked Sallow. Think about it. But, watching this, it definitely feels like your standard Stephen King story with a lot of tropes. I mean, the over-the-top acting is, as far as characters are concerned, that is a staple of Stephen King lore. Especially with the bullies. I know he must have been bullied badly as a child because darn if he doesn't like to do these over-the-top bullies. Almost, these kids were about as bad as I remember experiencing in high school. But they were but they at least would try to get away with. I mean, they would at least get away with it without killing somebody. But these bullies are like, yeah, stab you. But yeah, I thought it was a decent enough movie. It's one that I'm sure if I found it really cheap, like if it was like really cheap, I might pick it up because I do like Stephen King. It's not one that's on my must-see list, and it's kind of good timing. I think, Tammy, you had good timing with this because Netflix is only running this until the end of this month, and they're kicking it from their lineup. And then it won't be available on streaming for a little bit.
I saw it said leaving soon, and I'm like, oh, wow.
So, so good timing. Actually, out of curiosity, Tammy, would this be the kind of car that you would be big into if you could afford a Christine?
No, my dream car is a '72 Chevelle.
I always was curious. I'm
But-
sure you've seen some though.
Oh yes, I've seen plenty of them. David asked me if the other vehicle in here is a Charger.
Mhm.
Which one? And I said, well, they've both got their good qualities. If you want something that's a total classic that you don't see that much of every time, all that much, you would go with Christine, being a '58, Plymouth Fury. But if you want something that, is got the muscle but has got the looks, then you're gonna go for the Charger. So
Makes sense on that.
And she found out through some fan lore that they're unsure whether that is a 68 or a 69 Charger.
Well, I will say they probably went through several of these making this film. And in
they
a
went
way,
through 23 Furies.
that kind of makes me sad in a way because that's like destroying history. Well, it wasn't that old at the time, maybe, but still.
Well, yes and no, they didn't go totally. When they decided to make it, they went and grabbed them out of junkyards and stuff, and there was 23 of them that were viable that they could use for the film. That maybe they used just the front end part of this one, or they had. I think they said there were 6 of them that ended up being pristine for the really good takes of the car, but the rest of them that they used parts, the back end or the front end, or when it got smashed, or when it, you know what I mean. But there was a total of 23. That doesn't mean that they were. That doesn't mean that they were all pristine. They didn't destroy them all like Dukes of Hazzard and the Chargers that they destroyed in that show.
And that also kind of hurts my heart to see that because older cars like that to me are more valuable to keep than the newer ones because the newer cars, they're too complex to really put together once you do a lot of damage. But the older cars, you can still restore most of those up to like former glory if you work at it.
Right. That's why they pulled a lot of stuff from different junkyards. Like they said, they had like 6 or 7 that were pristine. And the rest of them that they had pulled the stuff from the junkyards and made them look for the different parts of the movie, and there was 2 different Chargers in it. One was one was stick shift and one was automatic, which when they show the inside of the vehicle, you can see that.
That's really cool. I appreciate the knowledge you shared on that. Thanks.
I was having fun with that. Like I said, I was looking forward to this today. I was having fun looking up stuff.
Yep.
All right. That is my first impression. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't know why, but as a kid, I always really hated this film, even though I'd never seen it. There was the part of me that was afraid of the film, which I don't know what that part was. And there was another part of me that thought the concept was kind of silly. And I don't even know why that part of me stuck around because I've liked much sillier Stephen King pieces than this.
This has been my favorite since the first time I saw it. And there was many a times when I wish I had a car like that to do my dirty work.
But then you'd have to dress like a greaser all the time.
Well, he wasn't dressed. Arnie wasn't dressed like a greaser. I mean, he was kind of dressed like a cool kid, but not a greaser.
Oh, actually, Kim, did you want to share your first experience with Christine since you're here?
I was so young, I honestly don't remember. To be honest, I'm serious. Because I mean, my brothers are so much older than me, so a lot of the things that they got to watch, I got to watch. So Christine was one of them. I'm gonna guess I probably was maybe 5 when I saw it, and I remember even as a 5-year-old going, I want a car like that. I got some people I need to get rid of. So yeah, I mean it's not a terrible movie, but I agree with what Brandon said when we were watching it. He's like, what is it with Stephen King and these over the top, cartoonishly evil villains? Like the bullies in the movie, like they're not just bullies. Dude's got fucking switchblade. He breaks into a garage and trashes the boy's car. It's like, dude, what the hell? And then the hot jock best friend, I forgot how little he was in the movie. And I'm wondering if there was a reason for that. Like, did they rewrite something? Because it feels like he was supposed to be in there more, but then he has his quote unquote accident, and then we never see him again until almost the end.
In the behind the scenes on this that we watched, because the version that I have, basically they decided to make Christine the main character. Everybody else was second. Be the main decided on. So
well, Christine is the title lead.
And
oh man.
So basically, yeah, everybody else was secondary, and they were all just basically playing off of the storyline, but yeah, they said they needed an opposite of Arnie, like, so the two most unlikely best friends. So that's where the jock came in,
Okay.
But they didn't say he said that the only things that I know that they said that they took out was, like, in the book it starts out that the basically the original owner of the car that died, actually in the book, it haunts the car. He's in the car all the time. His ghost is like in the car. That's how the story is written. And he basically ends up taking over Arnie that way. But after John Carpenter got together not only with Stephen King but with the writers and stuff, and decided to not have that part in it. Instead of having this ghost in the back of the car all the time, it's the car itself is the ghost, But in the book, there's actually the guy that died, his ghost haunts the car.
So a proverbial ghost in the machine.
Basically, yeah. He said the werewolf of London, or where, the one that gets killed and he's haunting his friend, and he's only his friend can see him, and he's trying to warn him. Okay, they didn't want to, they said that was just done. So they didn't want to do something just like that in this movie. So that's why they took the ghost thing out.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That's what they said in the behind the scenes, that thing was just done. So I learned a lot on this behind the scenes thing today. So yeah.
Very cool.
And I'm not sure when I first saw this myself, but I have always thought that this was the go-to movie if you wanted to see a car that got revenge on people and went after people. You know, I mean, there have been some other films that have done stuff like it. Like there's a movie called either The Hearse or The Black Hearse.
Don't
That was, I think, in the late 70s. That kind of did it did something along this lines.
Wasn't there one called Car?
Yeah, there was also The Car.
I always think about the Futurama episode, The Honking. That's a fun one.
Okay. There was
then
also
we've always got the funny car, the fun haunted car, which is Herbie.
yeah, Herbie. There was Herbie, and I think there was one that we talked about on the other channel that I think was called Super something, where it was a car that changed forms and was like some kind of monster.
Oh, I remember that. I just don't remember the name of the movie.
Yeah, I don't either. But there have been,
that was wicked.
Yeah, that one was wicked. So, there have been movies that have tried to do the same thing afterwards, but I do really do like this movie from the Stephen King universe because it does show a romantic relationship. And I guess I have to kind of disagree with you, Jake. I actually do see the change in this actor. So
I mean, no, you see some change. It's just not at all subtle. And I feel like it could have been done less whiplash-like.
Well, he said he was trying to go for like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. The actor did.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
So
and that moment when his car was completely total, which I'm sure we'll get to eventually, when he basically slaps the girl and gets all hyper at her. He ad-libbed that at the moment, and the director loved it. So the fact that he got so angry and whatnot, and I guess one of the girl actress's best friend said, "Did he really hit you like that?" And she's like, "Well, yeah, that was kind of like what his character did." And he explained that I thought, well, that's what my character should be like. And he just did it in the moment. So,
which made it more realistic.
Correct. So, but I enjoy this movie for what it is. Personally, I like overacting. I like the cartoony villains. If you had a wooden actor who was a villain and wasn't cartoony, I wouldn't entirely like it. So, I prefer my villains cartoony. if you want to put it that way. If I see a villain that doesn't play it like a villain, then I kind of like, okay, this is just a person playing a part.
I just thought that Buddy looked way too old to be in high school.
That I agree with. I do think that that guy was like way too old or whatnot. But the others, they were okay.
To back up a moment, I would say oftentimes the best villains are people just playing a part.
Sometimes, but
more villainous. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Sometimes it's good to have a little scenery chewing and that sort of thing. It's just and the idea that Arnie, what was the actor? The let's see, is Keith Gordon. okay, the fact that I don't disagree with Gordon on this, but the idea that he thought that actual physical violence toward his girlfriend was perfectly in keeping with the character just underscores my point that Arnie was a douchebag once the car took hold of him.
Yeah, he was not a good character after that. He was as much a villain as Christine. He needed to die.
Okay, that's because the car is like possessing him.
Yeah, but
But
it's
how much
like,
of that's really Arnie, really, if you think about it?
Well, they
They-
said that was part of the thing with the movie is that if you notice how the windows are always blacked out in the car,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
to make you wonder if Arnie's actually in the car driving it or if the car's doing it.
right.
You know what it reminds me of when you talk about the relationship of Arnie and what's his name, the jock guy?
Dennis.
It reminds
I
me
didn't know you
of
were called Dennis.
Tetsuo and Kaneda.
Yeah, I could see that. But yeah, it's I mean, I kind of like Dennis and I kind of like Lee and the way that they both get shat on by Arnie, but also sidelined by the film.
Shafted.
We already talked about how Dennis is largely sidelined after his injury. Lee doesn't get a whole heck of a lot of screen time either. It's like maybe if they had a little more screen time and give us a little bit more of a human. Although we do get to cheer for them at the end, which is nice. But
Well, we do have her going on the date at the drive-in, and she does get that moment inside the car where Arnie's not even lifting a finger to help her, and she is choking on her. What she said said behind the scenes. She said that she wasn't. She didn't like to eat meat at the time, so what she did is she had a bun. She had just the bun inside that thing, so that she could choke on the bun. But she did have that scene so that she could tell Arnie because he didn't. I mean. He even got mad at the guy for giving the Heimlich maneuver to her.
Yeah. That's taking jealousy a little too far.
He claimed that the guy. I mean, he's like he thought that that the guy was attacking her or something, but
Right.
The fact that he didn't realize that she was choking on something means that he was already possessed.
He did realize it. He tried to get into the car. He just didn't try very hard.
Yeah.
And she took that and ran with it.
Well, yeah.
Reminds me of that meme that they had during the pandemic where it showed the chicken sandwich "kill for me."
Alrighty, Tammy, did you want to bring us into the plot line?
So yes, Arnie is I don't know, like a geek, and his friend Dennis is the jock. So, but they've been evidently friends for many years, and so even though their status or whatever in high school is different, it hasn't affected their friendship. So they go on a first day of school, and Dennis's jock friends are all telling him about the new girl. They see the new girl Lee come down the hallway, and they're all and of course Artie's standing there, and he can't get his locker open like usual, and Dennis is this girl that's all hot on him has to come over and act like her normal bimbo self. And so then later on we see that poor Arnie gets cornered in machine shop by the bullies.
And they're fucking with his lunch.
Yep.
Well, not only that, but did you guys realize his relationship with his parents aren't the greatest either?
Yeah, that was.
Well, we didn't get
interesting.
that far yet.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there was a little of that before they even get to school. So
Yeah, well,
Oh.
like when Dennis pulls up and her mother's like, "That's noise pollution," it's like I agree with her that noise pollution's a thing, but I think she's getting a little worked up over his music. Yeah,
She just didn't like the new version of the Buddy Holly song. That's all.
right.
But Dennis tries to come to Arnie's rescue, which just turns into a big fiasco.
Hmm.
Because the one of Buddy's little minions does a cheap shot on Dennis. I mean, come on, for a guy, another guy in, grab him by the balls that hard. It's like
grab his junk.
That is just cheap.
That's a
Okay.
gay. That's a gay move. No
Yeah.
offense.
I thought one of those guys looked really familiar, and I couldn't fully place it. But Rich is played by Stephen Tash. He's the guy that Venkman was giving shock treatments to in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I know him.
Okay.
It's funny because the lead bully has a switchblade,
Yeah.
and he's not willing to fight the nerd without the switchblade. I'm like, what kind of
Pussy!
Exactly. Did anyone else think that guy reminded them of John Travolta?
Yeah. We were
Which is
thinking just
funny
that.
because I think Kelly Preston's Travolta's wife, and she has a small role in this movie. But yeah, and that's
All I know is that I've always thought that Buddy looked way too old for high school, but
Well, John Travolta did get his start in horror movies, so
Buddy does seem like the kind of guy that got held back.
well, yeah, probably. But how many years?
And Dave, on that note, the other guy who wasn't, I think, in that scene, but he worked in the filling station and he was part of destroying the car. Vanderbilt. His first credit apparently was Friday the 13th Part 2. So,
guess who else was in Friday the 13th? The guy who played. Well, I'm not sure which one, but he played in one of them. Arnie, the guy who played Arnie.
He was in one of the Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Let's see.
So, yep. Anyways, the teacher comes, breaks it all up, and Buddy threatens Arnie. He's gonna get him and all that good stuff. But then the boys leave school, and as they're driving home, Arnie spots this 19. Well, it's supposed to be a 58 Plymouth Fury, but it came out in 1957. So it's okay.
I like how they show the car getting made. And the person was murderous right off the lot.
That's right. It wasn't Friday the 13th. He played in Jaws 2.
I was going to say, I'm not seeing that anywhere here, but yeah, that opening sequence where they're playing Born to Be Wild, which I thought was pretty great soundtrack for that scene.
Born to Be Bad.
I'm sitting there going, no wonder Tammy likes this movie so much. It opens with car porn.
Now, what did y'all think? Actually, I was going to be curious. What do y'all think of the dude smoking the cigar?
That's why the good dude died.
Yeah, I was going to say, no wonder he got killed. But yeah, you got to admit, he probably would have had his ass fired if he's getting into a brand new vehicle. And
the plastic was on the seats of the car, but still.
Yeah, Christine didn't want that crap in her car.
Well, and also, I mean, hot ash from cigarettes is fucking hot. It could probably burn right through that plastic if he dumped that much of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Well, yes, we get to see Well, yes, we did see Christine in the very opening to where she brought her hood down and smashed the guy's hands.
Am I
And
the only? Am I correct that she was the only one that wasn't cream or beige or whatever that color
Yep,
was?
she was the only red one.
Yeah. Well, I guess no wonder, huh?
And she showed that guy that she did not like the ashes in there either. Then she did away with him too.
Yeah.
So it showed that she was bad to the bone right from the beginning.
Right.
But this is years later. So this is 20 years later.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I said Born to be Wild, didn't I? But I think it was Bad to the Bone. Sorry.
That's okay.
Same thing.
George Thoroughbred and the Destroyers.
Right. Right.
Appropriate
band name for
That took place in what, the 1970s? I know the film was 1980s, but it was like 1978 or something like that.
I think it was the late 70s, yeah.
Yeah, the film is supposed to be in 1978. Yes.
Right.
The problem is,
Yes,
right now,
but the film was filmed in 1983, the year before I was born.
I mean,
So, yes, Arnie sees the now 20-year-old Christine sitting there,
yeah.
pretty much dilapidated.
Which I gotta say, that's some pretty serious wear and tear for 20 years.
Yep. I think she was probably just left out in the elements, and that was that. But he goes gaga over it and thinks that she is just the most beautiful thing in the world, and goes to look at it against Dennis's his friend's better wishes.
I think then he says something like, "I finally found something uglier than me," or something like that.
But I can fix this.
Yes.
So the gentleman comes out and
by the way, that gentleman is the same neighbor in that you see in Home Alone.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Oh yeah, I didn't see it now.
He aged pretty gracefully in that.
Robert Blossom.
Well, then again, it was only like 10 years later, so yeah. A little less than 10 years, actually.
So he, gives them the keys. He starts it up. Arnie's just wanting to, whatever you want, it's too much, and I want it, and
Yeah.
And
the guy says, "I was thinking about 300, but I'll give it to you for 250." And then Arnie turns right around. What was it? 300? It's like,
yep.
And Dennis is like, it's not worth 50.
Right.
And Dennis is still trying to get the guy to, back off, and he doesn't. Nope. He's like, if this car it meant so much to your brother, why are you selling it? And he's like, because he's stone cold dead.
Actually, one thing I noticed in this that I was thinking about that could be missed is that before he even offered to sell it to him, he asked him to start it first. And I know that had a purposeful meaning.
Well, maybe it was to see if it would actually start for him.
Yeah, that was the idea. I think is that would it go to him?
Yeah, you're right. I don't think I had really thought about that at the time, but it does make sense.
Yeah, because maybe if you would have let Dennis try and start it, that might not have started.
True.
So.
But in any case, he does get the car, and then he does bring it home, and then of course you got the deal with the parents.
Oh yeah, that went over real well.
That's not sitting in my driveway, no siree.
Again, it's those over characterized cartoonish, like the parents are like cartoonishly strict. Like, no, you're not getting a car. You need to be under our control.
Well, I actually think that they were very controlling.
Well, that's the idea, is that they were way overly strict. And because of that, of course, now you got Arnie, who is, I will say this was probably the most appropriate reaction, in my opinion, because the Arnie up until then had played the nerd like, I guess they gave him the, like, okay, think of the nerdiest guy you can, and then do that by 10. And make him clumsy.
Yeah.
And
That would be Marty McFly's father, George McFly.
actually,
There you go.
but but in this one, of course, I could see the blow up. Actually, that was one of the few blow ups that I felt like wasn't necessarily over the top.
Yeah.
But I felt like that if those parents were there and he's having to deal with all this stuff, I could see that blow up coming a million miles away. That one. So that one actually I felt was one of the most appropriate blow ups in this entire movie.
Yeah. And also, you're talking about like, I think you were talking about that in the context of it being a regular thing with Stephen King stories, but like
Sometimes they come back. Good example.
yeah. But also, I mean, again, this is a John Carpenter film, and it has elements. It has a lot of elements in common with Halloween. It does. And one of them is Halloween kind of helped set the template. I guess Black Christmas kind of helped with this too, but Halloween definitely helped set the template of the adults are pretty much useless and or clueless in the face of a maniacal killer. And that's kind of
You need to wear a William Shatner mask.
What's that?
Christine needed a William Shatner mask.
Nah.
Maybe like a William Shatner toupee on like the top.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? Or like, or when he uses the radio to communicate, but like if it played the radio and stops and starts, and like, that would be fun.
Okay. So where are we now?
So we get
He
to
has
that.
it out with his parents. His mom keeps asking Dennis, why'd you let him? And he's trying to, I didn't let him, So, yep, he has it out with him, and so he takes off to go to this salvage yard called Darnell's.
Self.
I will say the limited empathy that I have for Arnie, mostly at the beginning of the film, I do have a lot of empathy for him, and some of it lasts. And I also have a little bit of empathy for his father, because it's clear that his mother is the one who calls the shots, and she is something.
She's a piece of work. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But, yep,
And Darnell is honestly, I think Darnell is probably one of the most cartoonish characters in the movie, but he's kind of fun. He's interesting.
oh, yeah, he definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he lets them bring the car in, and, no more running it until you have an exhaust, running, have the thing for the running the exhaust outside and everything, and he lays down his rules, and then of course, he say there's no smoking in the building, and then Dennis is gonna pipe in about his friends that are sitting there smoking, and almost gets Arnie kicked out right then and there.
Which would have made him happy. He was trying to, and he did ask Darnell. Dennis did ask him as well. He doesn't really know. He's trying to talk him out of it, and it's like, yeah.
Well, but you think about it, like for a nerdy guy, I mean, Arnie is actually sitting there. He does know somewhat about cars because he's in auto shop.
Yeah.
which is an odd elective for the nerdiest guy. But I guess since he hangs out with the football player, that would be where the football player would be.
Yeah. I mean, it could be because Dennis has a pretty nice car, and Arnie straight says he's been saving, and so it could very well be that his plan all along was to get an old car and refurbish it.
Yeah.
It just happened that he found Christine. That
Well,
timetable
I think-
got moved up.
I think when he was going off on his parents, I think part of the reason he took the auto shop was to do a strike against them.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Because
to rebel.
like he said, I was in chess club because you wanted me to. I was in this because you wanted me to. I did this because you wanted me to.
But I want this for myself.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and he's almost graduated, so he's almost to college anyway.
Mhm.
And this is like part of his striking out to try and do it. Was it this movie that tried to say like your parents' job is to kill you or something like that?
Yeah, I think.
Yep. He says that in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But yep. So he's got things set up with Darnell, and he's gonna work on the vehicle, work on Christine there, and that's basically what you kind of see happening is he's working on it, and him and Darnell have some interchange because Darnell thinks it's funny that he's got brand new windshield wipers on a cracked windshield, and things like that. He said his ways of doing things are all over the place.
Whacked.
But
Yeah.
then Darnell makes a deal with him, which Arnie was so stupid. He makes a hey, if you pick up and you put the toilet paper on the toilet paper thingy, and other little things around here, you can take all kinds of stuff, and
Well, I'll think about it.
yeah.
Do odd jobs, basically. Be a little gopher or whatever.
Grunt work gopher.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he's like, you could like you could replace like the little tubes that have like the toilet paper on it and such.
Yeah.
We should note that Darnell is Robert Prosky, who has a long and storied bunch of credits. The Natural, The Great Outdoors, episodes of Murder, She Wrote, and Cheers.
Oh God, that was him in The Great Outdoors.
Yeah, Turned Away, Last Action Hero, Rudy, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Dead Man Walking, and then Dudley Do Right.
Truly the best of films.
Yeah.
Though the guy Darnell actually though, I
Yeah.
kind of like the character. Yes, he was gruff. Yes, he kind of takes advantage a little here and there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a part of me that looks at him as like this dude is actually somewhat nice to Arnie. I mean, he actually treats him pretty well overall. At first, it feels like he's trying to rip him off, but after a time, you can tell that he actually does seem to get protective over him.
Well, I think he respects Arnie's work, and first he probably thinks he's some goofy nerd who doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and then he sees like 3 weeks that he basically turned that heap into a good-looking car. It's
Pretty impressive.
pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you said too, when he first brought the car, this isn't a place for kids that want, just want to turn it into a hot rod and go racing. This is people use this, for their everyday vehicles. So he was, I think after time, Darnell himself realized that he was putting a lot of time and effort into restoring Christine, and he wasn't doing it just to be a hot roddy kid,
It's actually kind of funny because when you were talking about like how they got a lot of the Christines out of places much like this and did basically what he did, which was restore them.
Yeah. And did you know that the Darnells was actually a coil factory?
Yeah.
And they only ended up using about half of it in the movie, and then the other half they sectioned off, and that was the a half that they used to build the cars and to store the other Christines. So, in a way, they were using part of it as a shop, like in the movie, but you didn't see that part. So,
Oh, yeah. You
it's
don't see us
sometimes
do
it's
those.
kind of fun to watch the behind the scenes when they tell you where they found these things. When we get there, the surface station, they actually built that.
Right.
There's
You know,
something about those 80s horror movies, those early ones, that just have a good feel to them, and this one does. I don't know. I like some of the places. It's kind of grungy, but it also has that kind of like home feel for Arnie and his way of running away. Essentially, his place he can run away from home for too,
Right.
because it still feels safe in a lot of ways.
Is it safe?
Well, is it? No.
So, yep, Arnie does this immaculate job of restoring Christine.
Mhm.
Yep.
But at this point, though, you don't realize. I don't think Arnie did it all himself.
Yeah. Probably not.
No,
No.
we'll find out later that we don't. It makes you wonder if Arnie really did it all himself.
Right.
Well,
Correct.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arnie replaced some of the parts, but if Christine did some of the fine edges, like the paint and all that stuff, like
Right.
he probably painted it was a little bit off, and then suddenly, it seems to have dried where it's a perfect match.
Right. Like at one point, he even tries to show off to the detective. Like, you see, the paint doesn't even match her. And the detective looks at it, it's like, no, that's pretty good. It's like, but it could be that it was like that at first. And he, yeah.
Right. So yes, the Arnie shows up at the football game with Christine and Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, after Dennis got shot down by Lee, we have that whole
She
scene.
said like she had a boyfriend, and I'm
Yeah.
like looking as like that cheerleader has the hots for him. He's got his eyes on her,
Yeah.
and he's already been told like she ain't gonna give you the time of day. She shoots everybody down. It's like, well, I'm gonna try.
Was that a cheerleader? Was that Kelly Preston? I'm feeling like it was, but I don't remember her name.
he only went over by Lee because his buddies pushed him to, because they were too chicken to.
Right.
And Arnie goes through his big glow up basically from.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
I don't think he put on glasses after basically they broke him. It's like, yeah, okay, done.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so. After they were broken, I don't think we saw him in glasses again.
It's like, I'm too cool for glasses.
He just wanders around with like 21,000 visitors, and they're like, I'm cool. Stop running to the wall.
But yes, his buddy Dennis sees him at the football game and he gets hurt at the game, so now he's laid up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he tells Arnie that he will probably never play football again.
Right.
At least that's what they tell him.
Right.
Well, or Dennis.
Yeah. And Arnie is thoroughly nonplussed about this news coming from his best friend.
Correct. And while he is there visiting his best friend, his car gets smashed.
No, not yet.
You sure?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the whole thing with the drive-in happens after that.
The
Yeah.
whole thing with
Okay.
the drive-in happens before the car gets smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the night that he drives in after the whole drive-in incident. That's when they sneak in when he drives the car back after that because they have a big fight.
That's right. There is a moment where the group of bullies are like, "Hey, is that Arnie Cunningham's new car?
Yeah, they spot that at the football game.
Oh, I know where he keeps it."
Yeah.
I find it interesting though at that scene when you go to that scene where they're at the drive-in and they're making out. I mean, he's getting to second base and she's definitely into it. But then she's thinking about the car itself. I think the radio comes on and that just gets her like, no, I can't do this in this car.
Yeah, something like that.
Gives her tells him about her hate for that car.
Well, I don't blame her. I mean, you think about it. Christine got really mad when that guy dumped that stuff on her. I mean, how would you think Christine would feel after they did that on her seats? All that stuff on there. So you did what?
So yeah, we have the whole drive-in scene where, you know, Arnie goes out to fix the windshield wiper, and Christine locks the car up. And
well, she even smacked Christine while Arnie was still in there just to get Arnie jealous.
yes, and I think Christine retaliated by let's choke her.
Yep.
As you do.
But yes, they have their big fight and everything, and then the next day, they're back at Darnell's, and he's like, "I'll only be a moment. I just gotta go get my wallet out of Christine." And he convinces Lee to go in with him, and that's when we saw the guys sneak in, and destroy the car. Now we see the aftermath.
Right. And I bet you probably found that whole sequence utterly heartbreaking.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I'm sure if somebody did that to your car, you would probably be like beside yourself on that.
I'd be very annoyed and very hopeful that insurance would pay for it.
But yeah, that was a hard, and they took a dump on the dashboard.
Yeah, that's a little too far.
Like I said, over the top.
I would be very, if I knew
that was on the top.
I would be like, you better get out of town before I find your ass.
But yeah, actually, I think that the way it looked to me is that when he was going back in there, he was trying to hear her out. He wasn't totally. He really liked Christine. He kind of understood that because after he dropped her off in the rain, Christine didn't want to start, and he's sort of like, "I'm sorry, baby, I didn't mean it." And then she starts up for him. But you know, I think that he was a little bit more willing to go along with what she said because I think he did care for her at that point until he saw the car messed up like that, which I think was the final straw that kind of just pushed him over 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I think the final straw was when it was just him and Christine after the damage, and he was working on her, and he heard the noise of things tinkering. And this is one of my favorite parts of the movie, is when he walks out in front of her and says, "All right, show me." And Christine puts herself back together. That is always been one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Man, I want my car to be able to do that. No oil change needed. Just
yeah, it'd be nice if cars were self-repairing. That would be awesome.
Oh yes,
that would make crashing a little bit easier.
Well, let's not.
That would make just maintenance a lot easier. What? You don't need a new timing belt. That regrew itself. Tires? Nope. Tread seems to be fine. Been fine for the whole time. 20 years? Yeah, tread's still good.
But it makes you think, though, when Christine puts herself back together, this is where it makes you wonder if all that work that Arnie did for that 3 weeks, did he really do all of it himself, or was Christine helping him?
I think it was partly a test that Christine put him through too, to see how dedicated he would be to her.
Right.
I had at that point thought that Stephen King was going back to a trope he likes to use of the haunted object kind of feeding off of the psychic energy of the host.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize too that the odometer is constantly going backwards
Yeah,
throughout this movie too, right?
because it starts at like 88,000 and then comes
93,475.
But yeah, I feel like I felt like it was at one point like the car was speeding off of him, but that was proved wrong at the end of the movie.
Well, yes, because you guys, unless somebody watched the behind the scenes thing like I did, and they took the ghost element out of the movie that was actually in the book, you know. So Christine is actually the whole thing. You know, there isn't an actual ghost.
Because that's one of the things I liked about Rose Red was that the house was drawing off of them and then using it to build on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I need to watch.
Well, basically, Christine is drawing off of him because they took the ghost element. You don't see the ghost. Like in the book. The book has a ghost. You know, they took that element out.
And one thing I will give the actor who did play Arnie, I mean, his eyes become less and less. It's like it's like his soul becomes less and less. You can even see it in his eyes. Like there's less and less of himself in there.
Right.
So I got to give him that. He does a good job of portraying that.
Right. As the things go on, you can see he's getting more and more, in love with the car. The actor said that to get himself more into the part, he was trying to imagine Christine as a woman.
It's like that Queen song.
So like when he would rub his hands on the steering wheel, he'd think of, like a part of a person, or when he was thinking about how he was supposed to feel about the car, he was trying to think of a person to make it seem more realistic as to how he was changing and how he was feeling about the car,
Yep.
He was picturing it as a person. So don't you know that's what all good car owners think of. My baby Grand Prix, she's a baby Grand Prix. And Critter's just a critter.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it always reminded me of the Queen song, "I'm in Love with My Car."
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite songs by Queen. So good racing
Roger
song.
Taylor.
Actually, my favorite racing song is "Fuel." Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that. Metallica. That's one of my favorite racing songs. I don't like much of the newer Metallica, but I like that one.
It was after that though that Christine started seeking revenge against those guys.
Oh yes, that's what all these really good parts come up. Other good parts, Yes,
How come this? As cartoonishly evil as they made those bullies, I really didn't feel bad for them getting murdered.
Right.
So we got the first one is what's his name? He's Pudgy Dude.
Mooch.
Mooch.
Or Moochie.
Yes. Because it was after Christine gets restored after what they did. And it's the perfect song when he notices Christine is there. Little Bitty Pretty One is playing. And he sure as hell isn't no Little Bitty Pretty One.
Yeah, that dude gets off the bus at the most deserted, most dark and out of the way place possible.
Well,
Yeah.
he jumped out of a truck.
Or whatever,
It
yeah,
wasn't
whatever
a
he
bus.
got.
He was in like a truck.
Yep.
The kid had no survival instinct.
I don't even know
No.
why the heck. I don't even know what the heck was over there that he liked, but yeah, he liked that secluded, dark area. Perfect place to get murdered at.
I have a feeling he was probably either heading home or he was probably trying to head to the gas station, maybe. Where his buddies were, wherever. But, anyways, I just thought it was funny that Christine starts playing it. Little bitty pretty one, as he starts.
Little bitty pretty one.
As she starts to go after him, but he is not no little bitty pretty one. He's far from it.
Hey, Cunningham, you're not mad at me, are you?
I mean, he then proceeds to run straight down the middle of the road.
That's like I said, no survival instinct.
I mean, the smartest thing he did is he went to a place that appeared to be too small for Christine to get through. Though, in all fairness, if Christine did that, as slow as Christine was moving forward, even though she was crashing through there, he could have, well, then again, he was big, but he could have, in theory, just stepped up on the hood and walked over Christine to leave.
I don't think that he, because he was the proportion that he was, I don't think he could have jumped up on the hood. I think you would have had to be a little bit more spry to jump up on the hood of that car.
Yeah, I think so too.
Back in those days, I could have done it, but not now.
Well,
actually, as slow as it was moving, I wouldn't have to jump up on it. I would just have to step up using the front bumper and up onto the hood. But yeah, he is. He was not in good shape. He needed better survival instincts, as Jake's.
Well, yeah, when he went over that fence, it was just kind of splat. But yes. Anyways, yes, he meets his untimely death, and
very messy one too, apparently.
Correct, but that was left for the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They said that they didn't, in the behind the scenes, they said that they didn't really feel like they had to show all of that, that what they showed was enough, and because of the officer explained what had happened to him was enough.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, Arnie does get under suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right. And that's when we have the officer questioning him. He said, I thought this car was totaled. And he's like, everybody says that, but it really wasn't once you picked up the glass. And,
Right.
Arnie's trying to show him, like you mentioned before about the paint being different color.
Right.
And there were holes here and and the officer brings up about the defecation on the
Yeah. He's like, I would think that would make you angry. And Arnie's like, well, you can wipe shit off. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, you can, but
Well, with the amount of work you'd have had to do to restore that car back to its original form from where it was,
yeah.
you probably wouldn't have smelled the crap by that point because he would have probably replaced the entire dashboard.
Probably true.
But yeah, the only thing that I go with is that the leap is a bit far for the officer because it's sort of like how L in Death Note has that leap automatically to, well, obviously some dude is killing all these people who just seem to have heart attacks. I'm like, all right, interesting. With this one's like, this car, which would obviously have been totaled, The next day, yes, this guy must be really good. He can restore the car overnight. I'm like, there.
Well, he didn't restore it overnight. It said that he had taken his time to restore it, but the officer was there because evidently somebody had spotted the car that night when Mucci got killed.
Oh yeah, and the paint matched, and there are very few cars that have that. But with the amount of damage that would have been, that investigation would have shown the amount of damage that car would have taken. That's a lot of presumption that that kid is that good to have restored it from the night of the murder to perfect condition again the next day.
Oh yeah,
Well,
in
again,
that sense, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we do know it took him time to restore it from the destruction.
Yeah.
Okay, that was they, you know, it took him time to restore it from that, but yeah, I think the cop was just being there because he's investigating because the Mucci dude was considered part of who destroyed the car to begin with, and now he's dead. So he's just following up on anybody that would have an axe to grind, basically, you know.
All right.
You're really good at repairing this car, aren't you, kid? Yeah, apparently, like supernaturally good.
And of course, notably, this is our Harry Dean Stanton character. And his name is Junkins, which I did think it's kind of funny that in a movie about cars, you get a character named Junkins. I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Oh, the officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said that he doesn't like to play villains at all. He likes to play that type of role like he was playing in this movie.
Yeah.
That actor does. But yes, now we're going to get to one of my other areas that I like of this movie. You see Buddy and his friend leave a store, and they're hot rodding around in that nice ass Camaro, and yeah, who do they? Christine, and I love the little play that they do, where Christine's following him, and he's like, "I'll show him," and he puts it in reverse, and Christine follows backwards, and he puts it in drive, and Christine comes, you know. She just totally keeps up with him. Now, in some for that little bit, yes, Christine would be able to keep up with him, but that Camaro in reality would have no problem ditching Christine.
Yeah, but they didn't really want to ditch Christine. They wanted to mess up the guy. They wanted to mess up the guy behind it. So that's why he drove to that gas station to essentially.
Right, which they got to the gas station before Christine, which is right because that Camaro had more than enough power to get rid of Christine. You know, but yes, that was the sad part though when Christine came around and just nailed that Camaro. I was like, oh. Ouch! Not only did the Camaro get nailed, but Christine got nailed. Ouch!
I will say this: those cars back then, those were like metal missiles. Those were freaking strong cars.
Oh, don't I know? I remember I have a '72 Grand Prix. I wouldn't want to get hit. I wouldn't want to get hit by her. That big honking metal bumpers on that sucker, and mine's got those points to her bumper. If you ever looked at the front end of that car, it's got these points. I would not want to get hit by that thing. My poor critter would be destroyed if my car hit that one. But anyways, yes, that whole scene was just wow. It was on our other thing that we go on. What does Boris always say, David?
Yeah.
With the big blow up when it blew up.
Okay. Yeah, I
What?
understand.
What does Boris always say?
Oh, Spudow.
But ow.
It's something that he got from that Plant versus Zombies game.
But yes, it was, as he says, a big split out when that whole thing blew up like that. But
That image of the a car on fire, I do like that, and I got that captured.
And Jake, as you said, with the other guy running away, this guy, I mean, if you're running away from a car, why would you run down the damn road where a car
Right,
would go?
exactly.
That was
Why would
worse
you- I
actually
mean-
than the other guy.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't
Well-
you run down? There's a field right there. Why wouldn't you go in the field or something?
And just like in Halloween, in Christine, John Carpenter shows that his villains do not have to run after the victims.
Right.
They can just go their own pace and still catch up to them.
Maybe he thought he'd be like his car and could outrun Christine.
Right. Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
we were
in this case, the likelihood that you outrun the villain is much less. Like Michael Myers theoretically wouldn't be able to move as quickly as Christine. But then again, he does go on serial killer speed, so maybe he does.
But the guy that was in Christine during this in the behind the scenes, he said he had this whole stuff on him, and then they had the windows blackened. And he said, you know, when he backs Christine out of that big fireball, and she's on fire, he said he was supposed to, you know, take off right then and there, and Christine died. He said they had to do that take like 3 or 4 times because every time they pulled the car out of the fire, it died. And then he said,
Which is probably why they went through so many Plymouths, eh?
Well, yeah, they don't think they used. I think they used one of the other ones, not the pristine ones, for this part. You know,
well,
but
he said it kept dying on him, so you would have to think that they would have to get a new Christine just to do the part.
well, they had to mechanically wise make some adjustments. But he said the fun part was trying to chase down Buddy because the windows were all blackened and the car's on fire. And he's in this suit to keep him from getting on fire, you know.
Yeah.
So you could just imagine the stunt guy, you know, from his point of view, trying to do this particular scene, which the scene looks awesome. It really does, with this car, you know, Christine going down the road on fire like that, you know.
The only thing that would have made it better is if he had turned around to face Christine and drawn his switchblade, like, yeah, I'll take you.
No, I don't think that this bully had the smarts to do that.
Well, he didn't have the smarts not to run down the damn road. Where a car
That's
can go.
true.
Come over here and take what's coming you. I'll slice your tires off.
Because I even said that, like every time I watched this, I thought the same thing. You're running away from a car and you run down a road?
Yeah. Because I no survival instinct.
Well, you know,
Right, right. That's just like that stupid commercial where all these kids run into the shed and it's full of knives.
You're talking about, oh, let's hide behind the wall with the chainsaws.
Exactly.
oh yes. Well, you know, I can say one thing about that one.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the scene you're talking about.
Crazy? Let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Smart. Yeah, okay.
But yes, so now Christine goes back to Darnell's after she has taken care of everybody. because the station blew up and that took care of the other two.
Mhm.
And she ran over Buddy.
I think she ran over one of them before the station blew up. Like he was already
Yeah, he was in the
in a lot of pain.
he was in the station, and when she hit the Camaro for the second time,
Yeah.
it blew the Camaro into there.
Yeah.
But Christine goes back to Darnell's, and now this is where we do see that Darnell really does have a soft spot for Arnie, because the car comes back and
It's
Arnie is
smoking.
supposed to be getting parts for Darnell and be out in his Cadillac somewhere picking up parts. And
He actually calls and gets a alibi for.
I love that scene because it's like Darnell was like, I know you ain't gonna have to fuck with my boys, Rod. Stay out of his whip. He put my shotgun. I'm like, oh yeah, he ain't fucking around.
Yeah. He just
in this scene, I kind of feel bad for Darnell though, because he really was looking out for Arnie. He really thought somebody was in that car and did something, you know. So I feel bad that Darnell, that Christine took Darnell out. You know,
that's just supposed to show you that Christine's a bitch, because it's like, bro, Darnell was looking out for Arnie and you, ho.
Yeah.
It don't know any better.
Killer car, it has to kill. That's just part of it.
No, remember I kept saying, like, this kind of reminds me of Jexy. Who this bitch?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
So then, yes, we have Arnie show up the next day, and all the cops and everything are there, and Christine is pristine again.
Mm-hmm.
And the cops are trying to figure out how come Darnell is dead in the front seat of the car with a shotgun.
Right.
Yeah. This time he has a harder time. The officer still is fingering the nerd character, even though he's got a solid alibi. He's like, oh, well, you probably have the magic powers. Just like the magic repair powers.
Well, the officer said that the car was spotted by the gas station that blew up by somebody. Mm-hmm. So that's why he's questioning him, and he's like, well, I don't know what to tell you,
Uh-huh.
Well, and he also asked him why. Well, if you're picking up parts, why did you wait to come back in the morning? Why didn't you just do it when you were done picking up the parts? So, which is it's not a completely illogical question. It's a valid question. If you did a supply run, why'd you take your sweet time getting back here?
No, admittedly, it was the middle of the night when he got it done. So,
yeah.
I would stop off.
Why would he be doing a supply run in the middle of the night if he couldn't come back right after?
And apparently, he could park the boss's car in his parents' garage, but he can't park Christine. So, which I guess that meant like, well, instead of having to walk back after work, I try to look at it from Arnie's point of view on this. I always say like, well, because he can't take the car back to his parents' house because they won't let him. Mm-hmm. And so the only way that he would get back after he delivered the parts would be to walk.
Right.
I could understand him wanting to sleep first before he had to do that walk back.
Yeah. Well, he still has to walk to school, apparently.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah.
But there is a difference between doing that in the middle of the night versus doing that in the middle of the day.
Yeah, but also think about the kind of posh neighborhood that he lives in, where the only thing you have to worry about apparently is serial killers like Michael Myers. Because apparently that was filmed in the same neighborhood, or at least part of it was.
Well, I'm just thinking because if you've been at school all day, then you've been doing work all day at that garage, and you're getting parts, you're dead tired, and you're sitting there like, I got to walk like 2-3 miles to get home. I don't even know where Darnell's garage is compared to the house because they were driving there a lot of the time.
Right.
I
Yeah,
don't even know how long a walk he'd have to do.
it seems kind of funny that the parents would allow Darnell's Cadillac to be parked there, but not Christine.
Maybe their country club friends have no problem with Cadillacs, but they do have a problem with other cars.
But they have
With
a
a-
problem with a car
with a-
looking newer.
With a bright red standout car, yeah.
Yeah.
What will the neighbors think?
They may actually, yeah, it could have been the color of the car. Because, I mean, they say like they charge more for insurance for red cars than they do for other colors. People have weird prejudices when it comes to the way things look,
It's red car prejudice. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Supposedly, officers noticed the red cars first too.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole idea that if you've got a sporty color for the vehicle, Tammy, you might know more about this than I do, but that's what I had heard, that if you get like a sporty colored vehicle, it means you're more likely to take risks and drive fast and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, well, a lot of the Super Bs out there are yellow,
Yeah.
which a yellow with the black on them.
Right.
Yeah, that's supposed to be attracting. Where the Charger in here is blue. Okay,
Right.
it's not that. Oh, it's nice looking or whatever, but it's not that. Pronounced.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
If I got my car
I
custom painted, I would not even be taking risks to get that thing scratched.
like I get a lot of compliments on my car because of the color of it. It is the original color and everything, but you don't see it anymore. You don't see them hardly because it's called winter green. It's a dark green.
Huh.
And
Cool.
every show I go to, I get compliments on the color of it, and I even have the list, the thing that goes in the window about your vehicle, one of those for my car, and it has the color on it, and I have been to enough shows myself. I've only seen 2 other 72 Grand Prix run around, and they're both black. And when my mom first restored it and she was running around, she said that was one of the compliments that she got too, was the color of the car, because you just don't see it. But it is an actual color that it came. That is the original color. So yeah, color sometimes does make a difference.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, of course, the cop still doesn't have enough evidence to, drag him in. So,
Nope. He still does not.
So I guess
He actually seems like a relatively reasonable and law-abiding sort. All things told, some cops would not let that stop them.
no, yeah.
he's still doing the investigation. He's just, now he's Arnie can't go by Christina, and Arnie has to give up the Cadillac. Darnell. Now that's evidence.
So you magic that car well.
But well, I guess we're about to the point now where Dennis and Lee are talking about this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think they still at this point, they think the car has something to do with everything, but they also think Arnie does too, and they don't know who has more to do with everything at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I guess what you mean, like they're not really thinking of it so much as Arnie is possessed, as that just that he needs to. I guess
to get rid of Christine.
he needs to be shown reason. like Dennis is like, we're getting together for New Year's like we always do. I'll talk to him. Like he seems to think like he can still talk to him, reason with him.
Which he finds that out as no,
Yeah.
because the joyride that Arnie takes Dennis on for New Year's is
Yeah.
you really realize how far gone Arnie is.
Yeah. He's like, look, dude, no hands. Yeah. That's a good thing to do. But
And then he's
makes
talking
so
about if you love, you can just accomplish anything. You can accomplish anything in the world if they're behind you and this and that. And Dennis goes, "Oh, you're talking about Lee?" And he goes, "No." And he starts laughing. And Christine, of course.
Right. Yeah. Because that's the way you're supposed to talk about a car.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially when you have a girlfriend.
Oh. So.
Well, yes. After New Year's, I think Dennis has come to realize that they have to do something, and so, yes, he does that nice engraving on the hood of Christine about Darnell's tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
And Kim and Lee go try to set they think they're setting a trap.
Yeah.
And Lee's like, "Well, what happens if Arnie doesn't come?" And Dennis remarks, "Christine will." Because he already knows now.
Yeah.
Because if you remember way back towards the beginning, when Dennis goes to talk to the guy that sold Arnie the car.
Yeah.
And the guy is talking about his brother and how he knew that the car was bad because the child choked in it and the wife committed suicide in it, and they went to go get rid of the car, and what does he say? And the car came back.
Yep.
It came back.
And Dennis is like, "What do you mean the car came back?" And he just looked at him and he's like, so now Dennis is really realizing, I think he's thinking back to what this guy said.
Well, and also the first time and I can't remember if he's done it twice at this point, but there were two separate times. I think it was Dennis both times, but definitely the first time it was him. He's trying to get into Christine, and she pops on the radio. "You keep knocking, but you can't come in."
Yep.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, that was kind of fun.
I love that.
And he got lucky with that because she did that. She did not let him in. She could have killed him right then and there.
Yeah.
The music is definitely used wisely in this movie.
Oh yeah. They did a good job with that. Well, again, Carpenter loves him some music. I'll bet he had a good time with that soundtrack.
Well, they said that he went away for 3 weeks and came back with all the music that how he wanted it.
Right.
And even all the background music, everything. He had figured it all out.
Right.
And they said that they really enjoys doing that part.
Yeah. I feel like, again, I don't remember the specifics, but I got to go to a panel of his last year, and I remember him talking about his love for music, how it almost sounded like he almost liked that more than actually directing. But I feel like he did talk about this movie. I can't remember specifically, but I know he did talk about the care he puts into making soundtracks, and it's like, yeah, I think he did have a lot of fun with that, and it works. It works well. I think most of the songs are well chosen. But,
well, he did remark that this was almost like a little bit of a comeback for him because the movie before that, this was The Thing, and it didn't take off the way he thought it was gonna.
Right. Of course,
So
now people love it, but yeah.
When he got a chance to do this and he read it, he jumped on this because he thought that he could do something good with this.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so yep, they get things set up, and they're gonna take Christine out, you know, and they get this front end loader all set up and everything, and
Oh yeah, it's a caterpillar that he goes an old caterpillar.
Caterpillar brand, but it's a front end loader is what it is.
Yep.
And lo and behold, they did not realize that guess who was already there.
Yeah, right.
So
Christine was already at the party.
Yeah.
Oh, Christine, ready for him.
Better.
She was like, "Bitch, I'm ready for you."
Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
oh, and she brings it. She totally brings it. She goes after her full throttle.
Of course, she jumps out of the way several times.
And he ends up using the front loader. Dennis using the front loader to protect her because it's like that's a pretty sturdy machine he was in. So you know. Well,
Oh yes, they in that behind the scenes they showed how they did some of that stuff too, you know, and how they had to try and make the angles just right and everything, you know.
mm-hmm.
But yep. Then Christine goes off in the corner to rebuild herself, and that's when we realize that Arnie is actually in her.
Yep.
Because
he's in her and possessed to the hilt.
We did not realize because the windows are all blackened out that Arnie was actually in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so when she rebuilds herself and she goes back after her again, Arnie gets shot through the windshield. And in his dying moment, he takes his bloody hand and touches Christine. And she has to play a love song to him.
Yep.
Which is just weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a little bit, but it was set up as a love story to begin with. So,
Mm-hmm.
But then the game is on, and yes, they end up totally. I remember in the behind the scenes, they were they had to find out if it was possible for the front end loader to actually drive over the car or not to do that scene. They had to find out if it was at all possible. So
You guys send that to me.
Oh, yeah.
but yep, she does totally get destroyed.
yep. He takes that front end loader and smashes her to smithereens. And in the end, you see Christine is just this crunched up mechanical box.
And then we
And
get
then
a nice little fake out with this. We suddenly hear one of these old rock songs. And then this dude walks out carrying a poop box.
And she says, "I really hate rock and roll."
Right.
Liar.
And you know the two.
Was it the part? I feel like it was the part where he was crushing Christine. There was one part, and I think that was it, where she's blaring "Rock and Roll is Here to Stay," and I was like, that was kind of fun.
Well, at the end, you know, when the guys drop, when that crane drops it and the guys get out of the crane, you know, at the end, and those guys are right there. One of the guys that's right there is actually George Thorogood.
Oh, so one of the guys actually holding the crane.
Yeah, at the very end when they drop the totally boxed Christine.
Okay.
All right.
And you see the guys walking away. One of the guys is actually George Thorogood.
Oh,
Okay.
very
So maybe it's the guy who brought the music in to begin with.
Well, George Thorogood, you know, bad to the bone, you know.
Yep.
So
So
You'd think he would be listed on IMDb. Oh well.
Maybe he's just uncredited.
Yeah,
Right.
'cause
Well,
there was just-
they list uncredited people. That's why I was thinking he would have been one of them. But yeah.
they were talking about that in the behind the scenes that he just
Yeah.
had that brief little
Cameo.
stuff.
Interesting.
So, alrighty. Well, I guess we'll go into production here.
Oh yeah, they said also behind the scenes that they thought it was fitting to end it with that one little piece moving. They said they never thought of having a Christine 2 ever, but they just thought it was fitting to end it with that one little piece. They said to make the evil live on.
Right.
When they showed that one little piece moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it gives it a flair and gives it the possibility of a sequel too. Not that they would ever do that.
No, they said it was never in their thoughts. So they just thought it was fitting to end it like that.
Oh, I can't really say that it was never in their thoughts because the 80s was the years of the sequels.
Well, they might have said that. That doesn't mean that the studios wouldn't think, oh, let's do a Christine 5000.
Well, yeah, I'll admit, I wouldn't even take chances. I would bury that block as soon as it happened.
Right.
You don't take chances, you know.
Yeah, they should have crushed it up into a block and then torched it. And then, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's how you have to get rid of serial killers, you know.
Exactly.
But alrighty, well, in any case, let's talk about production.
He's just cozying up to you before he eats you.
What do y'all think about it?
I thought it was pretty good, especially for a film done 1983. I thought that the film quality looked pretty good. I thought that the actual effects were pretty good. So I thought it held up pretty well.
Yeah,
They said they only had an $8 million budget.
Well, in 83, that's actually still pretty high.
Yeah.
Well,
Sad
that's
to
what they
think-
said.
Makes me sad to think how much destruction was involved, but overall, it definitely looked good. I think it looked pretty solid.
Well, and I know that they started out the film in Fuji film for that earlier scene, and then for the actual film they used Kodak. So
Well, they said they started off with the Fuji and the plant to make it look more
authentic.
like authentic of the plant at the time. So
Gave it that old edge, that old feel.
for me, I think production was great. I mean, yes, there was some destruction of vehicles, but after watching the behind the scenes, you realize there wasn't as much destruction as you might think, you know, because they, you know, like I said, they had like six cars that were pristine, but they had 23, I think they said, total cars, but that doesn't mean that they were totally complete pristine cars. Only 6 of them were pristine. So that means they used a lot of the other ones for the destructive parts of the movie, which I think is really great, especially if you've ever done any homework on the show Dukes of Hazzard and found out how many Chargers were actually destroyed doing that show.
Well, I'll say these comments make me less likely to watch Dukes of Hazzard.
The only reason I know all that is because I did, I liked the show, and I always, even when I was younger, everybody's like, everybody, the girls were, you like Bo, you like, no, I don't want them, I want the damn car, man.
I saw the movie and it was good, dumb fun, and that's all I have to watch. I don't need to watch the show.
I watched Dukes of Hazzard a lot when I was growing up, but
So did I. And then when I got older and got into the cars more and more and more, and realized how many of them damn things they destroyed because they didn't take the initiative like they did in this one, where they had your good pristine vehicles, and then they had their other vehicles that they used for the actual destruction that weren't pristine.
Yeah, I can't
Well,
really
they
say
probably.
what the last time I watched Dukes of Hazzard is probably around the same time I last watched Hee Haw. and both of those times would have probably been in the 80s.
The only time I saw Hee Haw was in Back to the Future.
Yeah. See, I
That was a staple of the South.
But anyways, yeah, I think the production was really good. I mean, I was pretty much right when I said when I was even I think the last time we watched it, when Christine rebuilt herself the first time, and I said that's all just running the camera backwards, and in reality, a lot of it was that when I watched the behind the scenes, that's what they did with a lot of the stuff. They took parts. Originally, they were not going to show the car rebuilding itself. Originally, they had shot the film without that part in there, and then they decided it needed a little something more, so they took parts from these other cars that they had there, and did the destruction, and then they basically ran the camera backwards, and that's how you got it to rebuild itself. So.
Well, and they turned the cameras upside down.
Yep, they said they did that too. But that whole sequence of that car rebuilding itself was not in the original. When they went back and put that in before they released it, they were not going to have that in there. So, I think that was great that they decided to do that, because I think it really did add to it. And I think the production was good. I mean, the scenery, the clothing, the vehicles. I don't think it was over the top with the performance of the vehicles, themselves. Of course, when Christine went and crunched herself and went after the dude, okay, that's the over the top,
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff, yes, the Camaro can really go that fast. Yes, Christine can really drive that fast, things like that, So, there was a lot of reality is into what the vehicle. So, the only thing that I think they could have casted somebody a little bit different than Buddy, because he looked way too old to be in high school. He must have been held back about 10 years. But
well, sometimes they do. Actually, that's one thing that was it No Child Left Behind kind of ended the super freshman. They either forced them to graduate or had them just not. So it's kind of that was one thing that ended in the I guess the Bush era. But
the problem with No Child Left Behind, that kids graduated high school and could barely fucking read.
Well, I'm not saying it was a good thing. I'm just saying that's what happened. That's what happened to the super freshmen.
Super duper freshmen. Super seniors.
It's like that movie. Actually, the one that did it that I found the funniest with that was 8-Bit Christmas. And you got that one dude who looks to be in his 20s with all these 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds.
No, they're like 11 and 12. But he look old as hell.
So, anybody else have anything on production?
I thought production was great. I get a kick out of this movie, the way it does its horror. I do like the show me part where I did wonder how that part was done, so I'm glad that I saw the behind the scenes on it. But it still makes me think how well they actually knew how to do their camera rewind work. You know, to make it look like perfect clockwork. The machine just unbending itself, you know, and making it more like a sexual act, you know,
Well,
from
yeah,
car.
with the music that they played at that time, that was like a more of like a seduction almost type of music that they were playing,
Hmm.
you know. But also they've said towards the end, you know, you where the front end almost looks like teeth, after it got smashed, they thought they did that on purpose.
One last thing I'll say on the production is that, and we talked a little bit on Maximum Overdrive, how Stephen King had to be restrained apparently from making the movie really bloody and gory and all that kind of stuff, and like, um, apparently this one is relatively restrained. It's underplayed. And I appreciate that. I don't think it was necessary. And I feel like I'm sitting here thinking, like, if they were to remake this movie, it would probably be very bloody at parts because that's what people go for. So I
Yeah,
got
the only bloody part was when Arnie died.
there, yeah. But in the movie, there was the potential for more. So I give Carpenter credit for allowing I guess the audience to understand things, like, you know what I mean, like I feel like the way it's done gives the audience more credit than the way it would likely be done today.
Well,
uh,
he said he had just gotten yelled at for how grotesque, as he put it, the thing was.
well, the thing was hardcore body horror at times, so yeah, I could see that.
And he said he had just gotten yelled at for that.
He got a nasty letter, right?
Well, and this is the soundtrack. I mean, you got Bad to the Bone with George Thorogood, Beast of Burden with the Stones, Boney Maroney with Larry E. Williams, Come On, Let's Go with Richie Valens, The Viscounts on Harlem Nocturne, I Wonder Why with Dion and the Belmonts, Keep a Knockin', Little Richard, Little Bitty Pretty One, performed by Thurston Harris, Not Fade Away, Buddy Holly, Johnny Ace with Pledging My Love, which was, I believe, the main song, right? Tanya Tucker with Not Fade Away. Rock and Roll is Here to Stay by Danny and the Juniors. Runaway by Bonnie Riot. The Name of the Game by ABBA. And then We Belong Together, performed by Robert and Johnny.
Teddy!
Right.
Ozzy, no.
Well, it was a great
I thought the
soundtrack.
soundtrack was really good.
Yeah,
And even
it's pretty solid.
the background soundtrack I thought fit too. You know, when it wasn't a song. You know.
Right.
Yeah. That John Carpenter has no problem making music for. He's good at making
Mhm.
horror soundtracks. Let's
Right.
just put it that way.
He enjoys it. That's what they said in the behind the scenes, that he disappeared for like 3 weeks.
Right. No, this says he made the music in association with Alan Howarth. So I'm not sure what the in association with credit means. I don't know if they explained that, but yeah. He definitely does a lot. As directors go, he's probably one of the more actively involved in scoring music.
Well, I suppose we should get to favorite characters, favorite scenes.
Right.
You want to go first, Jake?
Well, favorite characters tricky. Because again, there are certain. I kind of like Dennis a little. I kind of like Lee. I kind of like Junkins, but I don't think any of them really have the screen time to be my favorite. Christine's probably the most interesting character, but I would not call her a favorite. So maybe I'll go with Darnell because he was kind of fun. As far as favorite scenes, probably some of those uses of music, like the keep knocking,
keep knocking and you don't come in.
Right. And like the rock and roll is here to stay, and then of course, the bad to the bone. Yeah, actually, I'll go ahead and say probably that opening assembly line scene where they're playing "Bad to the Bone." That's definitely high on the list. Yeah, I might go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, in the scene of Christine flaming, covered in fire. And
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Down that dipshit who didn't know to get off the road.
You said so bad.
Yep.
You better run in the zigzag.
Right.
Well, come on. You're running away from a car. Why would you stay on the road?
Exactly. Yes.
Maybe he knew something we didn't.
Okay, is that it then?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
How about you, Brandon?
Darnell definitely my favorite character in this. And yeah, I like the part where he gets run down by the flaming car, Christine, as shown by the picture I chose to put in the background of this episode. Though there is something funny in my mind about the car just coming in all like smoking and stuff from that whole thing to the garage.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Okay. You.
Oh, Christine is my favorite character. I mean, she is the most jealous, jaded woman I've ever seen on screen. The lady in red you don't want to see in a dark alley. I mean, you're not exactly singing "Lady in Red,"
Well, what's odd is when I see Christine come in down there and run him down, I keep thinking about this scene.
I'm the juggernaut, bitch!
Right.
But her on fire is definitely a good one. I definitely like when Mooch gets off the whatever, and he sees Christine, and she starts playing little itty bitty one, and he ain't no little itty bitty dude,
Itty bit pretty one. I always like that song.
As
I did
she's
too.
weaving her way towards him,
Mm-hmm.
like a snake. She just was.
And the fact that you see Christine crush itself into that little tiny space that dude is in, he's gonna die. So, I get a kick out of her revenge spree, even if you guys don't. So, but in any case,
So
I think that's
guess,
pretty much it for me. Well, what about you, Tammy?
well, of course, my favorite character is Christine. I could totally relate to her. You know, I think she was totally right to get rid of all the bad apples. I think she was wrong to get rid of Darnell. Okay, she messed up there. But my very favorite part is when Arnie says, "Show me," and she comes and she rebuilds. That is just one of my very favorite parts of the movie. You know,
You like her
if I had
striptease?
if I had to sit here and say what if I could only watch one certain part, that would probably be one of the parts I say I want to watch that part right there. You know. My second is, of course, when she is in flames chasing Buddy down. So, but yeah, those two got to be my favorite parts of the movie, and Christine, like I said, is definitely my favorite girl.
And Kim, if you're still around, did you want to say your favorites at all? Okay. Well, in any case, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed our discussion. If you have not seen the film, like, share, and subscribe. And I guess we're going with one of Jake's choices next week.
Indeed.
Jake, did you want to say what it was, or?
We'll be looking at Sicario by Denis Villeneuve.
Okay. And I've never seen it, so I'm going to look forward to it. So join us next time as we continue the birthday month for these guys, and let us know down in the comments what you thought of the movie, what you thought of our discussion, and everyone say good night.
Good night,
Everyone.
I'll say good night. I need at least two of y'all after the credits.
Okay.
Inside movies galore just makes you just want more. We've had all in the world of media to explore. Horror, anime, or Curious George. Our love of new things was our reward. It is the best night of our week.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.